John, first of all, thank you for doing this. We always love having these conversations with you. For those who are not familiar with you and your business there in Vancouver, would you mind sharing a little bit about your background?
Sure. Yes. 7-time ICON agent here at eXp Realty. I've been selling real estate here for the past 19 years, going on my 20th year right now. Last year, we were able to transact on 312 closed and pending. And that's for $280 million worth of real estate. And in my career, we've sold over 2,300 homes and counting. And I have 1,385 agents, great partners in my organization. And I was the first president of eXp Realty Canada. I had the honor of serving for the company for 2023 to 2024. And here I am back in production. So happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Always here to contribute.
Thank you. And that level of production, I believe the technical term for that is that does not suck. That does not suck. That's awesome.
We're very grateful. It was definitely our biggest year in a market that's going downwards. We were able to actually increase in our production. So I think we're doing something right, and which leads us to this is what we want to share with the audience here to help them with 2026.
Yeah. And so when it comes to listings, a lot of folks have entered the industry since we last saw a market downturn, and they've never had to have the kinds of pricing conversations that if they're not already having to have them, they're going to be having to have them soon. And so I wanted to kind of pick your brain as a top listing agent about how you go about having both pricing and then later price reduction conversations. And I'm going to walk linearly through that with you. Before we get to that initial call with that seller, is there anything that you do in your marketing outreach to help set expectations for people in your database about what's going on in the market for sellers?
Yeah, so I do a quarterly report to my clients and as well as a monthly market update email. And of course, I'm all over social media, so I'm always constantly updating my clients or potential clients on what is happening in today's market. And of course, a lot of my content is also educating realtors. And recently, I've been really just going big on how to get your listing sold, how to price your homes, so that it's going to get ahead of the market, and so you're going to get it sold, and your business will run smoother. So what I do for my clients is always constant communication, right? Whenever I'm doing my past clients and center of influence calls, I'm always asking, do they have any questions about the market? I mean, that's the easiest way, right? And if you're looking to buy, you're looking to sell, you're looking to invest, how can I help them navigate through that? Right. So it's all about communication. We're going to talk a lot about communication as we go along in this topic as well.
Yeah, it's a very good headline for all of this. And by the way, John's session, I think, is called How to Get Your Listings Sold in Today's Market. That'll be up on expuniversity.com. So go do check that out. A lot more details on some of the process we're going to skim over because we're really kind of concerning ourselves with pricing. So that initial call comes in and you're talking to them about setting up the listing appointment. Are there things in that conversation that you're doing that help you sort of set up your shots, as it were, for that pricing conversation at the kitchen table?
Yeah, I think you have to go to the 5 W's. You have to know right off the bat who, when, what, where, why, and perhaps even how you're going about this home selling process and getting you to the next destination. If you know their motivation, time frame, and where they want to go, why they want to achieve it, the pricing conversation is easy. And in today's market, you must have somebody who has a life event, or else it's going to be an uphill battle for a price conversation.
Yeah.
If they have a life event, they're not going to fight you too hard on it. As long as you present to them the CMA, the comparative market analysis, in a way that they understand, in order to achieve the goals by this time frame to get you moved to the destination that you want to go, this is where we need to be based on all the comparables out there that are competing against you and have sold in the last 30 to 90 days. Does this all make sense to you? Okay, great. Would you go ahead and list your home with me for that price tonight? And that's all you got to do. It becomes very simple when they're motivated.
Yeah.
And which comes back to, you have to know who and what, where, why, and how, or else if you have murky waters over there and you go in there, this is the price. No, we don't actually need to sell, but we want you to actually list it for the price that the buyer's probably not willing to pay, but we want you to list it. And then that's our problem. It's because we didn't make our business practice at a level that only attracts the motivated sellers.
In that initial conversation, I know some agents will and some agents won't ask Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what price were you thinking in different ways and different forms? Is that type of question something that you ask or no?
Yeah, so we have to ask. So for my script, for what I say, is always, remind me again, where are you moving to? And by when do you want to be there? And, based on your goals and time frame, what price are you looking to list your home at? So I don't ask that to be nosy, but to actually gauge if we are on the same page about getting you to the destination that you want in the time that you want. And the next question further to that is there a price that you won't go below and you'll say, you know what, let me just rent this out and let me just move anyway? Or we're not even going to make this move anymore. What price would that be?
I like the hinge, a bit of a takeaway almost on the pricing that, if we don't price it according to where we're going to end up here in the conversation, you're likely going to blow your timelines, your motivations for getting to where you're going. I'm curious, when you ask that kind of question, what percentage of people have a price in mind that they share with you versus what percent say, well, John, that's your job in so many words?
Yeah, you're the professional. You tell me.
Yeah.
Right? We get that a lot. And I would say 50-50. And a lot of times we're having to say, as a professional real estate agent, I study homes and prices every single day. I mean, therefore, I assume that when you do list your home with me, it'll be at a price that'll cause your home to sell. Is that correct? Well, yeah, we don't want to give it away. I don't want you to give it away either. And I've been in real estate for the last 19 years, haven't given one away yet. Is there a price that you won't go below? And you'll say, you know what, we'll rent it out. We'll move anyway. Or we'll just say, you know what, we're not going to do this anymore.
Okay.
So you see a transition into the next.
Good tie downs too. I like that very much. Before we leave that initial conversation, are there other things that you're going to talk about or ask them about that's going to impact that pricing conversation later on?
Absolutely. The next question is, would you please briefly describe your home for me? Are there any upgrades or updates that you've done to the home that may affect the price? I mean, I can see from the MLS history, this is what the home looks like. And since then, it's been about 10 years. Tell me more about what you've done. Or if it's original, tell me that too, right? So number one intention for that question is to see if it'll actually affect the price. Number two is, based on their answer, Brian, we're going to gauge what type of personality they are. You know what? 4-bed, 2-bath. What else do you want to know? That's a driver.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, you guys are going to absolutely love my curtains. That's an expressive. Right? Oh my gosh, we want the next buyer, the next owner to love our home as much as we do. That's an amiable. Right? Oh, we got 4-bed, 2-bath. It sits on a 33 by 122 lot, and it's 4,236 square feet. That's an analytical personality. So based on asking these questions, you'll know how to handle them at the listing presentation. If you know what their home would look like, if it'll affect the price, any upgrades and updates. And second is what personality they are. So that's my next question. And then further to that, I would ask them, we help a lot of homeowners in this market. A lot of times, unfortunately, they owe a lot of money. They have a big mortgage, and sometimes they're underwater. I just want to make sure you guys are in one of those situations. Do you guys still have a mortgage balance, or are you free and clear title? We still got a small one. Okay, yeah. Would you go ahead and give me the ballpark figure. And the reason why I ask is because we do a document called a net sheet for all of our sellers to let them know exactly after selling the home, after all the fees being paid, what they would end up with in their pocket. Would that be of importance to you? No, of course. Okay, great. Just give me a ballpark.
Okay.
Now you know what they owe. Now you know if they've done any updates. Now you know when. Now you know where. Now you know what their expectations are. You have a lot to go on, right? And then you, based on all these questions, you can decide whether or not they're a motivation level 8 plus, or if they're 5 and below. You know what? It looks like Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm not the right agent for you this time around. And if you still want to get things going, I can certainly refer you to agents that don't sell homes. Just kidding.
But I mean, these kinds of questions are important. I mean, two things occur to me in why you ask those kinds of questions. The first is gauging a sense of how in love with their own property they are, which is really important psychologically to understand if it's going to be an uphill battle on the pricing because they feel like that purple shag carpet is just the bee's knees and deserves a higher price point, right? The other two is you mentioned their behavioral style. And you're not using DISC, but it's very equivalent kind of behavioral style scoring.
Yeah, just different wording. Yeah.
Yeah, Enneagrams, whatever it is that you like, but understanding that then tells you what level of detail are you going to need to go to in order to explain to them why you've arrived at the price that you were recommending that they consider. So I like that very much. So anything else in that initial conversation you feel is relevant for getting you to where you need to be and them to where they need to be to have that pricing conversation?
Yeah, I've asked you a lot of questions here, Brian. Do you have any questions for me before we meet tomorrow at 5:00? And the reason why I asked that question is because I want to gauge if they have any questions or concerns or objections for me before I see them, so that I can prepare for them in the pre-listing package and during the listing presentation where I know exactly what they will object on.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
And to build trust, there's one more thing I say before I come by. And our meeting should only take between 5 to 25 minutes, including you signing the paperwork. And, today we talked about a lot. I would like to reiterate what you said, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And you go into the who and what, where, why, and just reiterate back to them. They're like, yeah, no, you got everything correctly. Okay, perfect. And it sounds like to me, if I can get you to Port Moody within 90 days for the price that you want, for the net that you want, and get you guys smoothly move to Port Moody on time, it sounds like to me when we see each other tomorrow, you're ready to go ahead and sign the contract. Am I correct on that?
You are. There are assumptive closes and tie downs and embedded commands as well. I mean, that's your scripts are spot on. I really like that. And I'm going to guess most of the time people are going to, you just kind of acquiesce. Are you getting any kind of objections then and there in that phone call to that kind of scripting ever?
Yeah, for sure. And that's, I'd want that. I'd want that. Usually what do people ask about? Right? It's commission. It's how long you're going to take to sell my home. What are you exactly going to do to get my home sold?
Yeah.
Right. And that's one of the first things we will talk about when I see you. And I'm writing those down so I can handle them during the listing presentation. I rest assured at the end of my presentation where you're going to get all your questions answered and you're going to be satisfied with exactly what I will show you. And we're going to go ahead and get your home on the market and get it sold. Fair enough. And then I'll see you tomorrow at 5. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that very much. Okay, so we do the tour of the property. We come back, and I'm curious. I'm assuming before we get to price, you're going to talk about what you saw on the property as you did the tour. I'm assuming you're going to talk about the benefits of using your marketing schema. Is that right? Do you do all of that before we talk about pricing, or no?
No, I don't talk about myself at all. It's a question-based presentation where I sit down and I say, you know what, great home. And it looks like you guys have done a lot. And I'm excited to get your home on the market and get it sold. So I have 3 real important questions from you before we get started. Can I ask them now? Great. Number 1, you told me that you wanted to go to POCO. Do you absolutely have to sell the home in order to go to POCO? Well, yes, we do. Okay, perfect. Number two is, do you want to price your home to sell, or do you want to keep it on the market for a long period of time? No, shake your head. No, we want to be realistic, but we don't want to give it away, right? Okay, I noted that. And last but not least, do you want me to handle the sale for you? Okay, if they say yes, and they want to list at your price, at your terms, go ahead and sign the contract. Well, yeah, maybe, but we want to see what you have to say today. Okay, great. At the end of my presentation, there's one of three things that will happen. Number one, you'll have the opportunity to list your home with me. Number two, you may decide not to list your home with me. Or number three, I may decide not to take the listing. I want you to know that any one of those three are fine, right? And then they're like, okay, well, either they say, yeah, sure, that's fair, or why won't you take my listing? Right? Well, I rather have you be upset right now than be upset at me 6 months down the road when the home is not sold, you're still here and not in POCO. Does that make sense? Okay, yeah, that's fair, John. I appreciate the transparency and honesty. Okay, perfect. Let's go over the questions that I asked you over the phone, and then I will go through the pre-qualifying answers again to reiterate their motivation, their time frame, and have them say it to me. Remind me again, where are you moving to? What time do you have to be there? And by when do you have to be there? You said you wanted to list your home at 1.5 million. Is that correct? And you said you owe about 400,000. Correct? Right? Okay, perfect. There's only two issues we have to look at tonight. Number one is your motivation to sell the home, and number two is the price that we set on your home. And we're going to have to decide, where you want to spend your time. Either we're going to be looking into Fantasyland where these expired listings are at, or we're going to go into reality where you're going to actually get your home sold. And I suggest that we spend our time in reality. Does that sound fair enough? Okay, perfect. I prepare what we call the comparative market analysis. There's three parts of the research. Number one is your competition. That's what we call Fantasyland because they're not selling. Or number two is the reality of the market, where actually realtors are listing and selling homes for. Or number three, basically what hasn't worked, the expired listings. And after seeing all this research tonight, we're gonna decide, where you wanna spend your time. Does that sound fair? Okay, perfect. So I go into the CMA.
And are you going property by property and talking to them about it, or are you just letting them absorb the information? How do you approach the three categories?
Great question. You have to put it in front of them. So I always have a copy with me, and I have a copy in front of them. And Mr. and Mrs. Seller, look at this property right here, and tell me again, how big is the lot over here? Oh yeah, it's 4,200 square feet. Pretty similar to yours, correct? Yeah. How many bedrooms? Oh, it's 4 bed. How many baths? 3 bathrooms. I want them to tell me, to reiterate. Right? Have you seen this home? Oh yeah, it was just around the corner from us. Okay, great. Do you believe this home is similar to yours, better than yours, or a little bit worse? Have them tell me. And I do that for 9 properties. I'm grinding them.
Yeah. And I'm curious because I know it'll surprise some people who's watching this, but there are some sellers who are just purely unrealistic. When you ask that question and it's clear that the property is either as good or better than theirs, but they insist that theirs is better, how do you deal with it?
It's your emotional intelligence to repeat and approve, never make them wrong. Okay? And just say, hey, yeah, I can see how you came to that conclusion. Well, why don't we move on to the next property? And at the end, they're going to say, oh, mine is better than this. Yeah, look how long it's been on the market, not selling. Do you want to be in POCO on time, or would you like to stay on the market for a long period of time, like I asked you in the beginning of our meeting today? Because I'm going to give you options. I'm never going to paint you into a corner. That's why I give you options on where you like to price your home based on your goals, because I'm here to serve you. And the last 312 homes we sold last year, 100% of them have listened to us. That's why we helped them achieve their goals. So what would you like to do?
I'm curious. So once we come to terms with a price, I want to ask you about price reductions. Are you mentioning anything at the kitchen table about price reductions?
100 100,000%. Right. So here's how I go into it. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm so excited about getting your home on the market and getting it sold so we can get you to POCO. In the next 21 days, Brian, there's 1 of 3 things that will happen. Can I share them now with you quickly? Okay, great. Yes. Number 1 scenario is, this is the best scenario, where we're going to get a lot of showings, a lot of people through the open house, and we're going to get an offer within the first 21 days, and it'll be acceptable to you. We open escrow, we close, and you go to POCO. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, perfect. Number 2 scenario is, we're going to get a lot of showings, namely 6 more, maybe 10 showings in the next 21 days, but we're not going to get an offer, or you're going to get lowball offers. And at that time, we tracked this over the last 80 years of organized real estate, that the price is about 5 to 8% higher than what the market is willing to bear. And at that point, you can make a decision whether or not you want to adjust the price to get you to POCO on time. Number 3 scenario is, if we get 6 or less showings, not a lot of calls, not a lot of people coming through, it means we've completely missed the mark. And then at that time, it's a minimum 10 to 15% adjustment just to get you to be competitive again and potentially get offers on the table. And I'm going to go ahead and communicate with you every single week, letting you know exactly what the market is willing to bear and what the buyers are saying about the price that we have set for your home. Brian, do you have any questions for me before I get to work?
I love it. And what typically is that question?
No questions for now. Their trust at this point in you is the highest. And they're like, you know what, I'm excited about, you seem like a professional. Let's get to work. I'm excited of what you can do for us. Perfect. Before I go, I just have one more question.
Okay.
Since you've already hired me, who else might you know in your friends or family that would also need my help at this time?
Love it. Hey, I'm curious. I know a lot of listing agents actually just go ahead and get agreement to the scripting that you just used. They go ahead and get agreement to price reductions at the kitchen table. Do you just simply state, hey, this is the reality, and we'll keep in touch and talk about that? How do you handle that?
The one thing that I didn't mention was putting the listing amendment form right in the pre-listing package. Whoa, what's this, John? This is what we'll need when we adjust the price of your home in order to get it sold when it's not selling. Do you have any other questions before we get started? So yes, and my form, I actually have them initial at the bottom, acknowledging that we talked about it.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And then when I come back to it and I say, hey, remember when we first started the whole conversation, the pricing strategy versus time, there's 3 scenarios that might happen. And right now luckily we're in number 2, which means that we only need to adjust by 5 to 8%.
So I want to ask you, leading up to that conversation, and I'm assuming you're not always waiting till day 21, but I'm betting you said I'll be in constant communication with them. Are there things in that ongoing communication between the listing appointment and price reduction that you're doing to set up success with the price reduction?
Yeah. Day 1, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the home is on the market now on the MLS. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, no, I'll be in touch tomorrow. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I just spoke to 30 people around your neighborhood, letting them know exactly what your home is listed at. And this is what they told me. Do you have any questions for me today? Okay, tomorrow? Okay, we have a showing request. And I also just talked to another 30 people marketing your home. Do you have any questions for me today? If you do that, Brian, for the first 14 days, they know this guy's legit. This guy's in constant communication with me. He knows, he has the pulse. He's talking to people every day about my home. And kid you not, on day 21, they're like, you know what, John, you've been out there hustling and the home is still not sold. What do we need to price it at in order to get it sold? You tell me, John. But if you didn't do that, and a lot of agents, Brian, they don't do that. They list the home, hope, pray that people will come, and then do an open house. Nobody comes. And now on day 21, they're like, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it's time to adjust the price. Well, what have you done to get my home sold?
That's right. That's the question you're going to face whenever you go to get a price reduction, if you haven't done what you do as part of your process, constantly letting them know that you're going above and beyond to get the home sold, and what the results have been, because realistically, most sellers are going to think that what sells the home is the marketing. what we have to make sure that they understand is that we're doing everything we should be doing, everything that they, and a lot of times when people outline their marketing plan, they'll say, do you agree this is what it would take to get this home sold? If we did this and we've gotten the price right, we're going to get the home sold. So I really much like that. But you were going to say something.
I was going to say the key is not so much the marketing that you do. The key is communicating to the seller that you've done the marketing.
Yeah, that's right.
Not so much just putting it out there. Putting it out there is easy. I see the ads. But here it is, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. We put it on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, everywhere, all over social media, and in magazine, and EXP Luxury Report. Did you see all those publications? Did you see the analytics that we sent to you yesterday? Yeah, that's communicating that we've done the marketing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you won't get on day 21, we need to adjust the price. What did you do to get my home sold? They know exactly what I did, right?
Yeah.
But it's not in so much you doing it, but in communicating that you did it.
That's right. And it's not difficult to do, and it lays such great groundwork for you. All right. John, brilliant as always. Thank you for pouring into us and for helping us help other agents. We really appreciate it.